Who's back? Hey guys, this is Bruce. I'm doing a whole nother format, just trying some things out right here. So bear with me. This is another Discord test and testing sound, things like that, making sure it can everything's being captured properly. So just to let you know what is going on. Forgot to plug this thing in. Test. Okay. So this one, I'm going to need some moderators, so I'm just going to figure that out on this one. And I wonder if you guys can hear that feedback. This is a very, very different, so has potential. So you guys want to participate in this, I'm going to give you the Discord chat so we could talk. I can hear you. I'm gonna make sure it can pick up on the live and everything. Let me see. Last time we talked for like 3 hours. I'm not gonna be able to go super long this time because I got some stuff I gotta take care of. But here is the link. Instigator. There you go. Anybody else who wants to jump on and chit chat. I suppose I could come up with a topic. Somebody said that there was something that they wanted to talk about, but I don't know if they're up for it. NC Biggs, how's it going? Let me make sure that this thing is recording on this side. There we go. All right, Biggs. Just let me know if you can hear me on Discord.
I can totally hear you.
All right. I heard somebody talking there. Who was that?
That's ET Biggs. I can
Hey.
totally hear you.
All right. Great. Awesome. All right. This is working. Seems like it's working anyway.
I can hear you.
Awesome. Thanks. Instigator, right?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing, man? Hey, Money Life Business. How you doing?
What's going on?
Doing all right, man.
Just saw you on your
My other live.
Instagram.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm just testing things out. I want to do more lives and stuff. Just seeing how that feels. So that's why I did that. Now I'm gonna make some folks I'm gonna need some moderators. So I'm sure I'm gonna get some trolls and stuff in here. I'm so sure. So I'm gonna go ahead and get ahead of that. How let me see. How do I do that? This is super different. I like it, but it's just like it takes some getting used to, you know.
Just a learning thing.
They've really changed this up quite a bit. I wanted to talk about jealousy because I did some. Yuri and I have done videos in the past about dealing with jealousy and stuff, and I wanted to give you guys my take on it, and then respond to some messages that I got, and also get your take on what's going on. Let me see here. I want to start off with this comment I got. It wasn't too bad, but it's something I thought I wanted to talk about. It was somebody had seen one of our old videos, and they had some stuff to say about it. Let me see. Gotta find it. Find that comment. They said that they had gone through the same thing that I'd gone through, and that the video had helped them out. And I really appreciate that, because you know, when you're giving feedback, you don't know like how people are gonna take it. You know, sometimes it's fine. Sometimes people freak out. You know, just for me, in my mind, it's just a conversation. You know. Let me see here. They said, I'm just kind of going through my comments right here. This is what I'm looking at. And they said, is this it? No, that's not it. Here it is. All right, okay, I got a few of these. But that's not really the one I wanted. Let me see. Can't find it. All right. Anyway, they said they were saying that they had gone through the same thing I went through, as far as jealousy is concerned, and in the video that I'm talking about, I was talking about how when I first met Yuri's pretty jealous. Like, she's very apprehensive about what I'm doing and always keeping an eye on me, you know. And I was wondering, like, why is she like hyper jealous, you know, and when there's no reason to be. But as I start to know more about her and other Filipinas too, like,
yes, that's a Filipino thing.
You know, it's not just a Filipino thing, that's for sure. I've heard James, if you've ever seen a Morris Del Caribe, he talks about it with his woman who's she's from the Dominican Republic. And he says the same thing. And I can't speak on Latin American women, but Filipinas, my theory is that it's very aggressive there. Like women are always, there's more women than guys, and so the women will try to grab somebody else's man, and it happens a lot. And so the jealousy comes from that because of what happens there a lot, and that's just my 2 cents, and I could be totally wrong, but I want to know what you guys think about it.
You're totally right. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're not just for friends. I mean, it's like sometimes I'll be on Facebook and my wife will look at me and she goes, "Who is she? Who is she? Where do you know her from?" And I'm like, "I've known her for years. It's not a big deal." And she's like, "Well, I don't know him." And I'm like, "Well, I can get you to know him." "No, I don't want him. You don't need to talk to them." And it's wild. It really is, And I've never had anybody in my life that's ever been so quiet. I'll go to family functions and she'll be happy just to sit in the car and not even come out. It's not like she don't want to know anybody. She don't care. It has nothing to do with her household. And I'm happy with that. And I'm like, just come out and talk to people. Nope, I'm fine.
How about you got anybody else?
Yeah, I had a Filipina that I talked to. She actually pretended to be her cousin and got online and said, "Hey, I heard you going to the Philippines." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to the Philippines." And then I didn't say anything else. And then later on, she said, "I caught you. See, I caught you. You're talking to other Philippines out here." I'm sorry, I hit the mute button. And I was like, no, I didn't say anything." And then even her cousin was like, "Yeah, he didn't say anything." It was so childish and ugh.
Yep. I can't hear you, Bruce.
Sorry about that. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, coming from a difficult relationship before Yuri, I had a relationship for a very long time. I really tried to make it work, but there was no trust in that relationship. So I had severe trust issues because we had stuff that happened in my previous relationship. So when I got serious with Yuri, I was like, in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to mistrust her. I don't want to be in a relationship where I'm not trusting someone, and I don't want her to not trust me. So I immediately just laid everything on the table. I said, "Look, here's what I'm looking for in a relationship," and anytime the jealousy would come up, like severe, like arguments from jealousy, and I would just tell her, like, "Listen, I'm not here to play games. I'm 30 plus years old. I got 2 kids. I'm not trying to play the field anymore. I'm done with that." And I had to basically show and prove that there's nothing to worry about, and then, but the thing is, the mistrust and stuff went both ways. I had to learn to trust her, and then I had to show her that I can be trusted with my actions, and just talking to her about when she'd have these bouts of jealousy, like really severe bouts of jealousy, and I'd just sit her down. Like one time, I'll give you an example. One time, way back when we first started getting together, she was showing me through her Facebook friends and stuff, and then I saw this one Filipina who was one of her friends. I said, "Wow, she's actually really pretty." And the reason why I said that, was because she was a darker skinned Filipina, and she just had this exotic, different look. And she had a different look to her face, and I was like, "Wow, I'd never seen a Filipina look like that." And so I was like, "Wow, she's pretty." And Yuri just flipped out, like but if you've seen that dude who plays Superman, this is a handsome guy. This guy is a handsome human being, So it wasn't like I'm not trying to get in her panties or anything. I wasn't trying to do any of that. I was just saying, "Hey, she looks good." That's it. And then we had a discussion about it. I said, there's nothing to worry about. I'm not trying to pursue this lady. I don't know who she is. I wouldn't do that to you, And I think the trust just had to be built over the years, to let her know like who I am as a person and what I'm looking for in a relationship. So that's what I did, and it actually worked over the years. And now we don't have any of those issues. I'll talk to my ex-wife or whatever, and she knows the whole situation, so she doesn't freak out about that. If if there's anything that comes up, I'm very out front about like, here's what's going on, especially if it's dealing with some lady or some woman, you know. That's how I did.
Well, I have one for you.
How did you guys deal
I
with it?
got a. I'll tell you what happens to me is I have every Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, any major holiday. I have a total of 7 children. I got married to my wife now. She brought her son, so that makes 8 children. We all meet at a remote place,
Wow.
which every year seems to be my oldest son's house. Now you think about it. My ex-wife, her husband, me, my wife, and all our kids, we come together. And at the end of the day, people say, you're crazy. That's ridiculous. It's ludicrous. I'm like, no, it's not. Think about it. It's for the children. It's because their children are actually able to spend time with their mom and their dad together in one place and see that we are adults.
Right.
And I told my wife before she came here, I said, look, that's something you're just going to have to get used to. I said, this is for my kids. It's not about you. It's not about my ex-wife. It's about my children. And she understood that. And we've been doing it now for 2 seasons. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's getting harder every year. Like this year, I especially now that her sister lives in Georgia, which is only a 6-hour drive from my house. And they come up here, and I'm like, that'd be really weird if we had them come. So we're going to start our own thing, I think. And I'm just going to try to slowly walk away from that. But it's weird. I mean, over the years, she can honestly say now that she knows that I would never go astray. I'm here for a life partner, not just somebody to be with.
Exactly. I agree, man, and that's really good. Like, and you got to adjust to your partner. That's what I've had to do with me and Yuri, because I got 2 kids. The kids live with us, and having to deal with, and I'm not gonna go too deep into it because there's a lot of personal stuff that happened, but dealing with my ex-wife and everything, and trying to make sure that they still have a relationship with their biological mom, you know. Which is kind of a strained and stuff, but I'm trying to get them to work it out. And Yuri knows the situation, so that was something that we both had to set boundaries. You know what I mean? Like, there's boundaries on the boundaries are my ex-wife, how much interaction we have. Me, not my kids. My kids can have as much interaction with her as they want. But like, as far as her coming to my house and things like that, there was boundaries that Yuri is like, nah, this,
my
you know,
wife won't even come to my house.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not, you know, this is too much. Like, there was boundaries drawn. Like, this is too far with this and that. And the same thing with me. I have boundaries too. You know what I mean? So, like, whenever, like, in the past, it hasn't happened as much anymore. But when we first start getting married, like in the beginning stages, like first couple years, her exes would try to contact her. You know what I mean? And my only thing was like, just let me know what's going on. Like, if they try to contact you, just let me know. I don't want to find out, you know, 6 months later that you'd been chatting with this dude who's your ex or whatever like that. Not that that's happening, but if they contact her, I just said, look, just let me know immediately. And then that's it. I'm not going to, you know, I trust you to make the right decisions, you know. So those boundaries are super important, especially if you have kids. So I know what you mean by that. All right, let me see who I got chatting over here. Kind of looking over here on the chat. Let me see if I can bring the chat room in from YouTube. I guess I gotta refresh it. What do you guys think about this format? Is this better?
I like it.
This is a cool format. I like it. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, I'll try this for a while.
I like this. I like this.
I know a few guys who I used to watch used to do this kind of thing all the time, and it could work. It could work. All right, there's my. Oh,
Be careful though. You might get a little crazy on here though.
I've noticed that. I've noticed that. I've seen that a couple times on some of the other chats that I've watched that are audio. They get crazy. they kind of go all over the place too. But that can be good.
It can be, could be bad though. You can't monetize that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, you know what you do? The little trick that now that once I tell you, you're gonna realize that they do this. So you take a Joe Rogan, and many others do this same thing. I think they got it from Joe. I don't know where Joe got it from. But what he does is he does these long form podcasts where he's talking for 2 hours, right? And then he has another. What they do is they chop up all the content into different topics. So they'll talk about 15 different topics, but he'll take his discussion with like Elon Musk, and he'll say, okay, here's the part where Elon and I talked about AI, and he'll call it like Elon is scared about AI technology, right? And then on the next one where him and Elon talk about SpaceX or that Neuralink thing, and he'll take that one piece out that's 5 minutes long or 10 minutes long and say Elon Musk talks about Neuralink. And so he monetizes it by chopping them up into parts, which I thought was really cool. So that's what I start doing is I'll take these and I'll see where it's interesting. I'll chop it up into parts where I think it could help people or where there's a keyword or something like that. Put it out there. And
I saw you do that.
Yeah.
I saw you do that on one of your videos not long ago when you was talking about how somebody said Yuri just wanted you for your money or something like that.
Yep. So that actually is cut from a longer thing that we did, I don't know, a month ago. And so that's what you do. You just talk, do your thing, then take it, cut into parts. It really works on my other channel. Like my other channel, I'll do an hour's worth and then chop all those into parts, and it like works like crazy. And it can be monetized. But the big one, this long piece right here, it doesn't make that much unless you are like a big time podcaster or something. Then it does okay.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something, Bruce. I was talking to you on my other account name. You kind of inspired me to be a YouTuber. Random Verity. That's me. So
Random Verity.
I was talking to you the other.
Oh yeah.
I was talking to you.
Okay.
But we've talked several times. You, me, and Yuri. When you had her on.
Really? Oh man. So you must have been here for a long time then.
Yeah. You even talked to me about my son. I had lost my son a while back, and you had talked to me about that too.
Right. Yeah. Man.
You remember me, so I knew you remember me. So I tell you was coming to North Carolina at that time.
Right, man. That's a tough loss, man. That's really tough.
Yeah, but no party pooping here, man. I just knew you knew who I was.
Right.
I just wanted to tell you.
It's crazy how many contacts I end up having doing YouTube. It's been pretty amazing. Like some of the folks that I've met, some of the stories that we've heard, of tragedy, of loss, of triumph. It's pretty amazing.
You've been very, very consistent on your YouTube channel. I got to give you credit. You are more consistent. I'm still working on mine.
Trying. That's the thing. Consistency on YouTube is super important. This channel, to be honest with you, is not very consistent because, there's a frequency on how much I post, and that frequency really matters, by the way. Like I post every Wednesday, and that really works. When you have a set schedule, that really but what even works even more is if you just take
you used to be very consistent, and then that thing happened.
Yeah.
I remember that thing that happened.
Well, we wanted to. There's a lot of different things that happen with that. Like we wanted to change the direction of the channel because it got a little too personal. Like in our personal life, it started affecting us, and that's when Yuri was like, "Nah, we can't jeopardize our other stuff," So she's like, "Nah, I don't even like doing this in the first place," So that really kind of changed it. And I don't consider myself, and I'm like not an expat blogger, I'm not. I'm not in another country. I'm not gonna travel. I travel like once a year, every other year or something. So I don't need to be in that space. You know, I mean, I talk about Philippines sometimes, but I don't consider myself by any stretch of the imagination a Philippines expat vlogger at all. I don't consider myself in that category. I do talk about it enough to where I do come up in those conversations, but if anything, it's more of like a relationship slice of life kind of. That's how I see this channel going, but it can go in different directions because I just don't want it to be personal anymore. Is somebody else talking? I don't want to talk over you. Okay, let me see. Who else do I have on here? It's Broly Khan. I got Lamont. How you doing, sir? Few people on here chatting.
I have a question for you, Bruce.
Yes, sir.
Did you read that on your last live or on the Patreon video you did? About the cabinet.
I did you leave a comment on there?
Yeah, I did.
Oh no, I did not see that yet.
Okay. I left a comment on there, and I know you were talking about what you've already, all the videos and everything that y'all already have, you know, like for the status. I still have not done my AOS.
Adjustment of status?
Yeah. And
okay.
we found out there's more paperwork involved, and now the price went up, but it's kind of confusing because they're asking for things like they wanted to have a social security number. You know, I didn't know if y'all had a new video for the new forms or not.
We don't have any new forms, but we're gonna have to go through the process because we're gonna write a book about it. So I'm gonna have to like rehash and go through all the new, if there's any kind of new forms or anything like that, any kind of new parts of the process. But what I can do, Heath, if you know, I'm sure I've showed you this resource before, but if you go to in fact, I'll show you as I'm talking about it. There's a really good site called Visa Journey, and there's a certain part of the site that has a breakdown of the adjustment of status. So here, let me just show you my screen here. Can you see that? Let me know when you can see that.
I can't see it. I'm looking at the video screens.
Okay. Well, what I'll do is I'm just walking through it right now. I'm going to show it on my screen and show you where the adjustment of status guide is on this channel. If they still have it. Let me see. Maybe they don't have it anymore. I'd be really surprised if they don't. Visa Journey had a used to have a breakdown of this, so that's what I'm trying to go to right now, Keith. Yeah, he went through the K1 visa process, so what I'm trying to do is show him the adjustment of status that comes after. Here it is right here. So adjustment of status, and they have a really good breakdown of all the documents you need to download, and then the entire process itself. See this checklist? This is one of the best. No, this is the best free resource online. Hands down, the best one I found in years. So better than anything we put out. You know, because some of our stuff isn't free. Like we got books, we got videos, stuff like that. But if you want free, this is the best resource right here. And what I can do is I'll put it in the chat window so you can see this link. Instigator.
So how do I get? I'm looking at just. I don't really know Discord that well. I'm only looking at just the people that are in the Discord chat. How do I get back to the? Of course, I'm getting on mobile. That might be why.
Yeah, can you guys see video on your mobile? There's 3 other people in here with us. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, that's I'm looking at three people, me, you, and
Money Life and NC Biggs.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
all I can see is the four screens. I see nothing like if you're doing video.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. So what I'll do, instigator, is I will. What's the best way for me to get this link to you?
Just email it to me.
All right. Let me.
Or you can send it. You can answer back on the.
On
video.
Patreon. Okay. Okay.
On Patreon.
Yeah,
and I'll get it there.
I'll do that right now, as a matter of fact, as I'm talking to you. Yeah. So just to kind of going through what we went through. So Yuri did this like a couple years ago, or we went through it a couple years ago, and so most of the work for the adjustment of status is on your spouse. But I knew that, like, as we're going through, it's really referring to my spouse, the foreign fiance, the foreign wife. I mean, they're filling out most of it. But when Yuri had questions for me or whatever, or if I had to provide certain documentation, we would do it together. And it shouldn't have changed that much, to be perfectly honest with you. All right, let me see. All right, here I am on Patreon, and I am looking for your notification here. We'd like to see you do a AOS book. It's been over a year and no AOS. Okay. Yeah. Yep, that's something we're actually thinking about doing, as a matter of fact. But I'm on there right now. I just sent you the link. Yep, just sent you that link. And this, like I said, it's a walkthrough. It's going to break down everything you need to get that process done.
Oh, just got it.
Yep. And if you get that link, what you're going to see is adjustment of status green card guide for K1, K3 visa holders.
Right. Well, see, the only reason why main thing I'm wondering about is they're asking questions, and I'm really getting confused as, are they talking about me? Are they talking about her? Because one of them's like, they want a background check of your history of your credit. And I'm like, how could you have credit? You just got here. And a couple other things. They want Social Security information. And, man, I want to tell you, I tried getting a Social Security card before the AOS, and, man, don't do that. That is the wrong way to go, because that was a big run around through with the Social Security Department in Tennessee.
Yeah, in each state is different. So, California's process is different from Ohio's process. Is completely different from Kentucky and Tennessee. Mm-hmm. It's just totally different. So, if I was to tell you exactly what we did, it's going to be slightly different from you. But the part that is going to be exactly the same is going to be on that link that I sent you. And right now, like, as far as the instructions on how to fill the form out, if you click on the links, like what I gave you is a walkthrough of all this stuff. And if you're wondering, like, who fills out the documents and what you put in the document, right? When it's asking you about credit or whatever, well, there's an instruction for each one of the forms. So if you click on, like, I'm in the forms right now, if you can't see it, but I'm looking at download the forms, right? It has all the following forms. It has I-485, it has I-944, and others. And if you click on that, it'll take you to where you can go into the instruction for the form. Like, I click on this here, and then it'll have each one of the forms. And the cool thing is, right here, if you happen to be looking at the screen, it have USCIS instructions. So I'm looking at the instructions for I-485, which is, I believe, adjustment of status support. It's like whether you can support the foreign fiance. And this is one of the only forms that I believe that the petitioner has to do, the I-485. If I'm not mistaken, I might be mixing it up. Like, hold on, I might be. Let me just go into the actual form here. What is the purpose? What is the purpose of the form I-485? And it says it is application to register permanent resident or adjustment of status. Okay, yeah, see, I was wrong. So this is the main form that your spouse will do, and this is the actual green card request for the adjustment of status application to register permanent resident. So that's her. If used
Right.
by a person in the United States to apply lawful permanent resident status. Throughout these instructions, we will sometimes refer to I-485. And just for anybody watching this in the future, I want you guys to know I'm not a consultant. I'm not a registered consultant. I'm not a lawyer or nothing like that. I just talk about this openly because me and my wife went through this a few years ago, and now my wife is a U.S. citizen. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. In fact, don't believe anything I say. Research all this stuff for yourself. Go into the actual USCIS website. Go onto state.gov if you have any questions. The best place, the best source is the actual government itself. And so this site right here that I'm referring, I'm not paid by this site. This is not my site. This, as a matter of fact, what you're looking at right here is on the screen this is specifically from the government's information. This is the actual walkthrough of it. But each one of these forms is gonna walk you through exactly, has an instruction manual on what to fill out in each box, and lots of different information. Another thing that you can do, really cool resource that you can use on Visa Journey, is their form. They got this really cool form. So if you were to type in adjustment of status, and if you typed in, like, say, California, it will come up with people going through the adjustment of status in California. And the reason why that's valuable is that there's some people who are going through your exact situation, have your exact questions, and they've gone through the process already. So you get to have it sets a precedence of what has already happened, and this whole process is based on a precedence of what has already occurred. That's why it's so hard, is because it's different from person to person, slightly
It's
different.
different because every time you go to one state to another, like Tennessee's different than Georgia. My brother-in-law, he did his when he was in the service, so it was a lot different because he was in Germany when she was in Korea. So him and I are just like, I said, dude, you don't even have a clue to what I'm going through because you did it when you was in the service, you did it all through the service.
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't even know half of those papers and forms you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? I said, no, you can't really help me.
And the military really helps you through it. Like he probably doesn't even know what happened. Like they've got adjudicator, or they have an office that'll actually help you. Like I think you go to the family support center or something. Because I know this because a few of my friends who had married foreign women, from all over the world, they went through that process on active duty. So I know a little bit about what they went through, and it's a different. The process is the same, but they have a lot of help to help them through it. And then also it does vary. You're right. It is different from the military to civilian. Their process is slightly different. So hey, Derek, how you doing? How's it going, man? We're just talking about random stuff. If anybody else wants to join us, let me know. I can give you the link. And what I need to do here is get myself a few people to moderate once I start getting some trolls and stuff in here, which I'm sure is going to happen at some point. Let me see. Money Life Business. You're an IT guy, right? Is it okay if I make you a moderator?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right. Let me see. I think I had some other questions in my comments. Let me see here. Oh, here's one. Tampo. Somebody said they watched our old video where Yuri was talking about Tampo. Might as well show you. So this is a good topic. I get attacked on quite a bit. Well, I like talking about it. Let me clear out this screen here. Let's move this out of the way. Yeah, okay, here we go. So they said, my daughter's husband's wife, often engages in my daughter's husband's wife. What? Often engages in tampo behavior. And he says, can tampo be controlled with medication? I have a different opinion about this one that gets me. A lot of dudes, a lot of foreign guys hate my opinion about tampo. The way that I dealt with it, because I did have to deal with it. And my theory, first of all, on tampo is, and okay, first of all, let's back up. What is tampo? Tampo is what is a name for behavior where your spouse, Filipinas get very kind of, how can I describe it?
Spoiled.
Go ahead. How would you guys describe tampo? Spoiled. Okay. Anybody else? Childish. Anybody else who knows what's going on? So, I'll just give you a couple incidents that when we first got together. It doesn't happen as much anymore. Together, Yuri and I noticed like that the behavior. Like, I didn't give her X amount of money and she stopped talking. It wasn't like that. It would be triggered by something where if she saw that she thought I would get very frustrated by it, and I would get frustrated, and in the beginning we would have arguments. But then I'm like, okay, if we're gonna make this work, I got to get to the bottom of this. So I started asking her questions. So she'd go through her tempo mode. I'm like, listen, this isn't gonna work unless we talk about it. Like, I don't know what's going on with you. You haven't been talking like the last couple days, and like I don't know. Like I can see that you're upset about something. You need to talk to me. Come to find out, there was a whole bunch of underlying issues. There was issues with her family. There was issues with past trust issues, major trust. And when she told me, I was like, oh my God. So she's basically is PTSD. I can't speak for every situation. I can't speak for every Filipino. I'm sure there's some that are just quote unquote spoiled or just immature or whatever. But in my case, the couple Filipinas that I had dated, the problem was that they had some real trauma. Like severe things. I can't even talk about the stuff that happened to these women on this live. Like this will be demonetized by YouTube. Like it was really, just imagine like one of the worst things that could happen to a person, and then you'll have an idea. So I started digging into like what is going on. Like why is she so jealous? It had to do with some real traumatic thing that happened to her in a past relationship. And then another thing I would talk to her about is like, okay, why are you not talking? Like, don't you know that we have to communicate? Tell me how you're feeling, and then you might feel better about it. If you don't tell me what I'm doing wrong, if you're not explaining why you're upset, we're not going to fix this, And I got her to talk. And so she started telling me what's going on. And it was linked to stuff that had happened in the past. And I said, look, if we don't resolve it, it's going to be like cancer. It's going to sit inside of you, and it's just going to grow. And you're not even going to know why you're upset. And I think the reason why I understood this behavior is because I grew up with all women. It was my mom and my 3 sisters. And one of the things that happened was that one of the things that my mom was really good at is communicating. Like if something would happen, we would address it right there on the spot. And that was what was not happening, is that she thought, my wife Yuri thought that that's how you deal with it. I want this to continue. I want to keep going with our relationship, so I'm just going to hold it inside. And I said, no, That's not what we do. We talk about it. We got to talk about what's going on. We start talking about it and we start resolving the issues. And so now I understand why she gets upset. Some of the times when she would get upset, when she would have tempo, had to do with her family. Something would happen with her family. And she wouldn't want to talk about it and she would be disturbed by it. So rather than bringing it up with me and kind of jeopardizing our relationship, or which she thought we would jeopardize a relationship, which that wasn't the case, she thought, I'm just going to keep this to myself. She wasn't brought up where you talk about things, and I think that had a lot to do with it, and that's just my 2 cents on it. So I always thought that tempo is tied to, not all of it, some of it's just you got to your lady's immature and you got to get her out of that. You got spoiled brats who are just want to get everything they want. I'm talking about traumatic incidents that are tied to them not talking because something has happened. And I'll give you a specific example. I don't want to talk around things. So my wife had an incident where her father was asking her to get money off of me. And they were really, her and her mom and dad were like really pressuring her to get money off of me when we start getting serious. And she was hanging out with me all the time. And Yuri got really upset about it. So she didn't want to, she was embarrassed to bring that up to me like that's happening. She wasn't going to ask me for money and to give to them, because we were still kind of working things out, so why would you give this guy who may not even be your future, serious person, why would you go and solicit him for money? So she was upset that this was happening. They were really pressuring her to get money off me. She didn't want to talk about it, but she was upset. And then when we would go through our normal day, something would trigger it, and then she'd just shut down, and then we wouldn't be able to talk. And me getting to the bottom of that made it so we would talk about it. Then she just opened up on everything. Like everything started coming out of all the stuff going on with her exes, stuff going on with her family, all stuff that had happened in the past. So then I started to understand where she's coming from. I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. So when she would overreact about, say, me saying that her friend was cute, turns out her friend had done some real dirty, shady stuff, So she's like, I don't want that to happen again. I'd rather just break up now. I'm like, no, that's not, I have no intention of being with this person. Like, none. So that's my experience with it, and that's why I treat Tampa a little bit different. I see it as like a person having PTSD in the more severe cases, and they just need you to talk to. You're their life partner, right? So they just need you. And I felt down before. There was a time when I worked so much that I was burned out, and I was just in the kitchen, like with my head down like this. It's like, man, what am I gonna do? Just in the dark, just like feeling down because I was just under a lot of pressure. And what did she do? She didn't just ignore me and say, why are you being like this? She came and said, hey, are you okay? Are you all right? Like, talk to me. And I didn't want to talk to her. Tampo. Like, that's how I see Tampo, is something that all of us go through, that we can get through it. And your life partner is supposed to be the person that says, hey, are you all right? I'm here for you. You can tell me anything. And that's worked for us. But a lot of guys will come on here, like, will regularly come on here and be like, Bruce, like, no, I'm not dealing with it. That's BS. I'm just gonna break up. And that's you. I'm not judging or anything like that. Maybe that's the way to go. I don't know. That's not the way I want to go. But what do you guys do when the tempo comes? I'm curious.
Well, mine is spoiled, so I just ignore her.
I see Derek F in the chat. I'm just saying, what's up, Derek? All right. Yeah, I mean, if it came down to just being spoiled, and there's been a couple times when Yuri acted kind of spoiled, and I'm like, nah, that's not cool. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not with that at all. So I definitely have an issue with that. But when we talk about it, it usually works itself out.
Bruce, I just kind of let it go down for maybe like a day or so. I mean, you do got to give it some time sometimes just so you can talk to them. But
Exactly.
then, after that, you gotta nip it in the bud. Like you gotta talk about it. Like I think I agree with you 100% on that. Communication is key. So if
Yeah.
there's no communication, it's over.
And what I'll say, and maybe it's something I haven't emphasized enough, is like taking a leadership role, in your relationship as a man. Like taking a role where you sometimes somebody has to be the grown up, and somebody has to step up and say, listen, this is the direction we're gonna go as a couple, and establish like this is we have open communication. If we can't be open with one another, like who are we gonna talk to? Who are we gonna go to when things get bad? So that's the way I see it, as taking a leadership role. And there's sometimes when Yuri takes a leadership role in our relationship. When I'm in a place where I'm disabled, I can't perform like I used to. I'm not in a place where I can take over. She just comes in, takes over. Whether it's business transactions or like dealing with people or fixing stuff in our house or whatever. Like there's some times in your relationship where somebody has to come in and take the lead, and the biggest lead that you should take as a man in the relationship is to communicate with your spouse and tell them it's going to be okay, and tell them and try to get that information out of them. And like he said, like one really important thing is to give them time, because sometimes there's so much going on emotionally that it's better to just like give them time to like process that pain or whatever's going on, and then when they're ready, sit them down, be like, okay, look, what happened? Let's just talk about this. Let's figure this out together. I'm with you. I'm on your team. So, it just letting them know that you're on their team is super valuable. That's been real super valuable in our relationship. Let me see here. Kind of just looking through some of my other comments.
I do have a.
I could barely hear you. Is that you, NC?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's got some kind of Okay, go ahead. Talk again.
Yeah. I took the headphones off.
Okay,
For
there
some
you
reason,
go.
those
I hear you now.
headphones are bad. So I have a question for you about relationship. I've been talking. I told you before. I've been talking to this girl for about 7, almost. Well, actually, let's say 8 to 9 months. Actually, almost 10 months. Um, the I've been to the Philippines once, and I experienced everything, and I had a crazy bad bad experience with the glass girl afterward. But I wanted to know your thoughts on how you deal with a long-term relationship. How'd you deal with your long-term relationship with Yuri for so long? Because I think y'all dated for a couple of years before y'all got married, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
we met in 2011, end of 2011, and then we met. We knew each other online 2011, and then we met in person 2012, and then we got married 2014. So, but your question is like, how do we manage to stay the course and be a long distance relationship,
Yeah,
long term?
yeah, that's a difficult thing for.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
especially now, but even so, even without this, I mean, you guys still didn't see each other that much. So how did you manage?
Well, it was hard. When you're, especially if you're new in a relationship, it was hard. I mean, going back to 2012. Now, when we met in person, first off, let me just kind of put some context on it. We met in person 2012, and it was like an instant click. Like something happened between us to where I knew that I don't want to be away from this person anymore. You know what I mean? And she felt the same way. And I knew it was real because we were both coming off of other relationships. I mean, we were coming off of different relationships that were bad. And we met each other, and it was like, I don't want to be away from this person anymore. It became hard to function when this person is thousands of miles away from me? So we would talk. There's just certain things we did. Number one, we talked very often. We talked every day, sometimes more than once a day, but usually at least once a day. And if I didn't talk to her that day on the phone or on a video or something like that, we would just chat and say, hey, I'm not going to be on the day, or hey, I've got this trip. I'm not going to be able to contact you probably for like a day or two or something. So don't trip, you know. So that was one thing we did, was stay in contact constantly, daily. Another thing that we would do is when we did talk, we would update each other on how we were feeling, how we're feeling about life, how we're feeling about what's going on for that day. If there was some kind of weird drama, if like I remember I was going through between jobs and stuff, so I would tell her, hey, you know, I'm trying to get this job, and this is why I'm leaving this other job right here, and I got to travel to this country or this and that. So we would keep each other updated on our life situation. Another thing that you have to do is to meet as often as you can. I was actually lucky in the beginning because I was stationed in I was a contractor stationed in somewhere in the Middle East, and what I would do is on my vacations, like every say 8 months, I would have a vacation, 6 to 8 months, and I would just go to the Southeast Asia. I would go to the Philippines and I would visit her. So I was actually able to visit her about, in that 2-year period between 2012 and 2014, I was able to visit her about 4 times. And each couple of those times were like a month at a time. And those are the things that really kept us going. Another thing that we did was we made a separate social media account on Facebook. And the reason why that was critical, and I bring that up a lot, is because there was so much. Facebook can break your relationship up, because what it did to us is like it kept trying to, you know how you get on there and says, hey, do you know this person? It'll be like your ex, you know. That was happening to both of us. You know, like it kept some kind of extra drama that you don't need. Like an ex is an ex for a reason. And another thing is a family would like put their 2 cents in on what your relationship is, and if they're on Facebook, they're seeing you guys interact, and they're putting their 2 cents on what your relationship is, what's going on, or whatever. You know, they don't really know. You guys define your relationship. You guys have to have the out, and then when we had different friends and family, we would slowly bring them over to our new accounts. So we kind of like started fresh, and then we could always go back to our old one. And as it happened, the old ones kind of just faded away. You know, and I use mine every now and then just to contact like cousins and, you know, friends and family that are back in California. So those are some of the things that we did. It's not hard. I mean, it's not easy. It's one of the hardest things that I've done, being in a long distance relationship. And I know that Heath did it. His lady was in Hong Kong, and a few other people who follow me, they did the long distance thing. So we have a huge community of people who've gone through this process. One of the things I will say is that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You know what I mean? Like if your relationship can survive that long distance relationship long term, then that's really a major feat. That means you guys really wanted it to happen. It takes 2 people to make it work. So you got to work hard to make it work, and then so does your spouse. I mean, your future spouse, your partner. They have to also be willing to make it work. So, what did you guys do? I'm interested to know what Instigator or some of the other guys that are going through a long distance relationship have done to keep it going.
Well, I'll tell you, it was definitely one of the hardest things I ever had to do. Today is, I mean, we would talk hours on the phone and video chat, and I kind of had an advantage over most because I knew so I had that, right?
Heath, you're coming in broken. You're saying that you had an advantage over most because you drive. You're driving, so you could just be on the phone all the time with her, right? Okay, I'm not sure what's going on with Heath's audio, but yeah, I agree with Heath. I kind of had an advantage where I was able to talk quite a bit to my wife, and then I was able to like actually go see her quite a bit, like the 4 times in that 2-year time frame. All those things helped. Another thing I would say is we both, like I keep saying, like we both have trust issues. What I did was I said once we got serious, I showed her my Facebook account. I said, look, this is my mom, this is my cousin, this is my ex-girlfriend, this is my ex, ex this, ex that. That's not cool. I was like, all right, delete. That's the end of that. If it's a friend, I'm like, nah, look, she's a friend. She's already married. She has 2 kids. There's nothing going on between us. Like, here's my messages. Look, see, we're just talking about birthdays and stuff like that. There's nothing going on. We were very, very upfront about what's going on in our life once we got serious. You know what I mean? So I hope that helps. We did write a book about it where we compiled some other people's experience. It's called 5 Stages of Love, Long Distance Relationship, where what I did was I took like 5 different people's perspective as well as ours and told them, and then we broke down like, here's what we did in our long distance relationship, and so that was helpful to some folks.
One thing that was nice too that I also was able to do is when I came home on the weekends, I'd have my kids here, and one of my boys, her and him would go into the room and he would have her on the phone talking to her, and they would sit up watching anime, and they built a relationship, so they knew it was almost like an insurance that she knew that I wasn't going nowhere. She was supposed to be here, not over there, and eventually she would be here. And to this day they still have that great relationship. And honestly, having a long distance relationship, I know more about my wife today than I have any other female that I've ever been with, because it was long distance. You had to make yourself talk. If you don't have presence of somebody right in front of you, you don't really need to know anything about them. But when they're not right there in front of you, you want to know everything. I want to know your mom's name. I want to know your dad's name. I want to know their family story. And I found that all out.
Exactly. That's a great point. Yeah, because we talked so freely and openly and honestly about how we felt, regardless, we ended up, I know where she's coming from. Even if we don't agree about certain things, I know why she believes a certain thing. I know why she feels a certain way. And same thing from the other way around. Like, she can see why I behave a certain way, and that was super valuable. So I really agree with you there, Instigator, on that one. That's a great point. Great point.
Going back to one of the things you talked about earlier when you said Yuri had her parents were trying to like encourage her to get money and stuff. I've actually, the girl I've talked to, she works on her own, kind of like how Yuri is, independent. But the thing is, she's so independent. Like, I've given, if they get in trouble or something, I always offer them the data, which is actually surprising.
Say that last part again, NC. I didn't hear you.
I said when I offer help to them, they get in kind of some bad situations, small. It might be like an inconvenience or something. They never accept.
Yeah, that was the same thing with Yuri. Yuri, she didn't want to. She was very particular about taking help from me, and even she did not ask for help, not even one time. And then I can't even remember like the first time. You know what I do? So when I went to go see her for that first time, I saw where she lived. I was like, look, like, I can help you out. It was the size of a closet, like a large closet. It was large enough to fit like a twin size bed. And I'm like, at the time I was making well over 6 figures. I'm like, I can help you out. You don't have to live in this box. You know what I mean? So I said, I made the suggestion for her to level up. She's like, nah, I'm good. I'm making this amount of money. I can pay for this. I don't want you to send money for me to live in some other place. I could, in fact, I could live here, and if you send it to me, I'll just save the rest. And I was like, no, like, look, these conditions are not good. Like, I would rather you live over here. So I started breaking it down, like what I could. And I'm the one who offered, because I was like, look, you don't have to. It was pretty rough. Like, the living conditions weren't good, So I made that offer, and then I kind of like persuaded her to take it. And then once she did, I started introducing her to how my perception of money, and like, she was really particular about money. Like, money was a thing where that we get into arguments about it, because she did not want to seem like a burden. She didn't want to be taking money off me. She didn't want, but I explained to her, like, look, I'm doing all right. Like, I can help you out. Like, this is, for me, this is an investment in our future. You know what I mean? So I started showing her how she could help me to make more money for us together. And we started talking about it, talking about business more and more, and how important it was to have multiple streams of income and stuff like that. And that all just developed over time. But yeah, she was the same thing. She did not want to take money from me, but I'm like, don't think of it like that. Don't swallow your pride. Like, we're trying to build something together, right? So if it's us and we're a team, then eventually this is going to be our money, not my money, your money. This is going to be our money. So you got to get used to it. If we're a team, that's the mindset you're going to have to eventually develop, and this was way down the line. This is when we were like maybe a year and a half into a serious relationship where we start talking like that. But yeah, she did not want to take any kind of help from me. She already was working 2 jobs, and was trying to get herself through college and stuff. But I was like, nah, I can help you with this. I can help you with that. And I'd have to persuade her to take money, which, just a different mindset. Very, very independent to this day.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I helped support my wife a few times when she was at work, and she worked full time over in Hong Kong, and she supplied money for her family back home. Well, that was to supply for her son to make sure he could go to school and whatnot. And then one time, the very first time I ever gave her money, and she's like, I'm not taking no money. I refused. I work. You don't have to send me money. And I said, look, if you have to pay for your son to go to school and get the school supplies that he needs, I want to be able to talk to you. So I paid for her internet so we could still talk.
Exactly.
I didn't give like extra money, like, here, I got this laying around. And I sent that, and we were still able to still talk. A tutor to come in and teach him English better. So when he came here, he's here now in the States, and his English is almost perfect. I mean, he still has some flaws, but I don't care what country you come from, you're going to have some flaws until you get used to speaking English.
Absolutely.
But put a limit on it. Don't sit there and make them think you have an open pocketbook, and don't let them get upset if you say, hey, look, okay, I can't send you nothing this month. And if you feel that you're being taken advantage of, that's when you have to start putting a limit and say, look, I can't do this no more. Because I pay now for her family to have internet so my wife can talk to her mom and tatai and her brothers and sisters. So I don't mind spending that.
Absolutely. Same here. And the closer we got, the way I did it was, the closer we got, the more I knew her whole situation. So I actually ended up when we were still long distance relationship, she was still living in Cebu, and I would just go there every now and then. And I knew like she didn't want to leave until she got her degree. So she finished her second degree, by the way. She already had a degree, and she wanted a bachelor's degree. So I was like, look, I can help you get through this. Like, just make sure it's an accredited school. I was with her the whole step of the way, because my thinking is, like I said, this is a long-term thing. This is an investment in our life together. That's how I see it, and it's the most important investment that I made in my life for my significant other, and it paid off like crazy. Like Yuri has helped me. She's a mother to my kids. She has helped me build a business here. She has gotten a job. Then when I hit hard times and I'm a contractor in between jobs, I've been a contractor for many years, and contracting work is very volatile. So I'll be going from job to job. It pays really good, but it's just not. It wasn't stable. I have a different situation now, but so yeah, she got a job. She once you get that right one, you do. That's the thing. You just gotta take your time, and once you know that's the right one, it becomes like an investment in both of your future, that you guys are going to build something even better together. It don't have to be necessarily business. It can be kids. Like maybe you guys are going to have kids together. Maybe you guys are going to, she's going to come here, get a job, and she's going to be paying some of the bills into the pot. Like there's just so many different things. Like if you have a winner, if your lady is a winner, and that's what you want to pick, like a winner, like somebody's going to work as hard as you are on the relationship, and not just money, not just sexual and all that, but like they're gonna invest in the intimacy and the success and the happiness and joy of your relationship, and that takes communication, that takes time, and money is just one of the tools you use to get there. That's how I see it. So,
well, what I say too is, if you're going to go to the Philippines and try to find a woman to bring home and make your wife, stay away from the bars. You ain't gonna make a bar girl your girl. That's for damn.
Yeah, don't. It's pretty risky. The bar girls are pretty risky. Now, I'm not gonna say that all of them are bad or anything like that. I met some who were decent. They ended up, they're here. We know quite a few of them actually that are here, were bar girls, and are married with 3-4 kids, whatever, and they seem fine. I mean, I don't know what happened, but most of the time it doesn't end well. So just keep that, especially if they've been a bar girl for a while. It's not gonna end. It doesn't normally end well. I'm not gonna say it won't, but it's kind of risky, is what I'll say. It becomes kind of risky. I gotta tell you some crazy bar girl stories that will make you run the other direction. All right, guys. I'm gonna get going on this one. I'm gonna hang up. I'm gonna drop this call. But thank you guys for joining. You will be seeing this in the future. I'm gonna be cutting this thing up, putting this up. Look, before I let you guys go, I need to make some of you guys some moderators. If I can figure out how to do this. Let me see. Instigator, thanks for your wisdom, man. Appreciate that.
Hey, anytime, man. Thanks for the knowledge too. If it wasn't for you and Yuri, man, I don't know if I could have done it. I'll be honest. Y'all helped out tremendously.
That's great. Great to hear, man. I love hearing that. Appreciate that.
Well, you're definitely an inspiration to me. So I hope you continue to do what you're doing, man. You've been very helpful and informative. I mean, I don't think I ever would have gone to the Philippines had it not been for you.
Wow.
So, appreciate that.
Yeah, man. It's somebody did it for me, so I'm just paying it forward. Like it was a huge blessing for me to meet some of my mentors, my boss, my different people who had a successful relationship with a Filipina, and it opened my eyes to like a different option, and gave me hope. And when I saw no hope, it gave me hope to see other people go through it and tell me, hey, I'm living great, or just seeing them. They didn't have to say anything. Seeing the smile on their face when they're with their wife, who happens to be from the Philippines or Korea or Africa or wherever, because I have friends who have them all, and they're so happy.
I think it's an inspiration because you're so close. You and Yuri are so close, and that shows that a relationship can work. You just have to put an effort. And I like that about y'all.
Yeah, man. It's all about. I always see it as like work. It's hard work. Oh, did I just cut myself off? I did. Whoops! I just ripped myself out of there. Yeah, I always see it as hard work. You know, hard work, and that hard work is the magic. That's how I see it.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I can't stress this enough. It still, me and my wife, we've been together. We started our relationship probably almost 6 years, about 6 years ago, and oh, she says 5 years ago, and she's been here for a year. No, nothing, nothing. Let me tell you, nothing has changed. The same willpower for the love. You know, I could ask her to do something, and it's without even a doubt, even have to ask me. And it goes both ways. And I'm so. It's. I don't want to sound like I'm stepping on American women at all, but the lack of respect from American women are totally different than it is from a Filipina. I mean, she is true to herself and to me and my children. I said, let me ask you just a simple question. She goes, what? And I asked her, I said, what would you ever do if it was your birthday and I bought you a vacuum cleaner? She looks at me and she goes, to vacuum the house? I said, yeah. She goes, I would be thankful. And I said, that's all I needed to hear. And not saying that I ever would, but it just goes to show you the appreciation of what you do and how hard you work for what you bring home. That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a downplay. It's not like a downplay on your relationship. Like, you no matter what you give, they're always grateful for the things they're given, not looking for more. That's always a beautiful. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally
Speaking
agree
from
with that.
somebody, speaking from somebody that receives ties all the time on Father's Day. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife just told me. She said, you better say something good about me or you're going to get this, Oh, but no, we're grateful. You've never even heard my wife. She's shy. She won't even, like I was telling you about, we go to family things. She won't even come out of the car half the time. But that's just, we're trying to get her out and open and to be where she can be around more people and talk. But
Yeah, just give it time.
yeah.
She'll come around, I think.
Bruce, it's been a year. Say hi, Bruce. Say hi, Bruce.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Stop laughing.
All right, guys, I'm gonna cut this one off, but thank you guys so much. It's a real pleasure talking to you guys.
Hi, Bruce.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Talk to you later.